Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Greeting from Taipei, Taiwan. Welcome to our forum. I'm Chen, Secretary General of GoSmart. You can also call me Leo. And next to me is Anita.
Hi. Hello, I'm the Deputy Secretary General of GoSmart. Nice to meet you.
It's a very great pleasure to welcome you to join our first online forum on smart tech in fighting COVID-19. Thank you very much. So everyone knows the world around us is currently dealing with a pandemic, and the government are looking for assistance in fighting the COVID-19. As it spread across the world, companies are developing great solutions or products to help us in reduce the spread. So we invite you to join this forum so that we can put our head together to share our experience, find better solutions, and open the discussions. So it's our honor today to have 8 government and NPOs representatives from Taipei City, Darwin City, Economic Board Utrecht, WeGO, Government of Canada in Seoul, Taoyuan City, New Taipei City, and German Trade Office Taipei to share the experience on how to deal with this, this pandemic, and also their demand for this to fight the COVID-19. And also we have 9 industry partners to share their solutions. We are fortunate to have the connection with these strong partners and look forward to work together in this challenging moment. This time, we also have very great support from some of the partners, which are Asia Pacific ICT Alliance, Asia Silicon Village Development Agency, Computex, Innovated, and Stop Terrence. All of you have brought a lot of resources to this event. Thank you so much for the support. I know some of you might have not heard of GoSmart before, so I would like to give a very short introduction of GoSmart. As an international smart city network, GoSmart consists of cities, industries, and NPOs. It's a platform for smart city stakeholders to interact and cooperate with one another. So the organization was established in March 2019, that was last March. And Taipei City initiated GoSmart and also now serve as the first chair. We now have 191 members, include 93 cities, 88 companies, 8 NPOs, and 1 honorary members who is also my best friend, Charles Reed Anderson. Charles, I know you are there, right?
Yeah.
You are here.
Right.
And also Charles will moderate the final QA sections. And Charles also comes from Spotlight Connects in Singapore. Spotlight Connects is more than a startup accelerator. It's also the IoT and smart city ecosystem accelerator. Okay, so for today's agenda, we have 4 sections. The first section includes presentation from 6 cities and organizations. Each of them will present for 3 minutes. And the second section includes 9 companies who will share their solution to fight the COVID-19. And each of the presenters have 3 minutes as well. And the third section will be moderated by New Taipei City and German Trade Office Taipei for 15 minutes each. And I believe the Chien-Hung from the New Taipei City and also the Andreas from the German Trade Office will moderate the sections. And for the last session, as I just mentioned, is a group discussion and Q&A for 20 minutes, moderated by the Charles. Now, before we started, I'd like to ask you for your cooperation to ensure our forum can go smoothly and in the time manners. So for the audience, please turn off your microphone and camera during the presentations. And you might change your outlet to sidebar to get a better experience of this meeting. Just like, showing the screen. And two, for the speakers, whenever, because for the time limit, when there are 30 seconds left for your presentations, we will give you a very kind reminder, and my colleagues might mute you when the time is up. So please, control your time. And it's for everyone. You are very welcome to share your question and comment by message all the time. So we will take an effort to answer as many questions as we can within the scheduled time. And finally, we will share the video and the slide after the forum. So feel free to get a copy. Okay, so without further ado, let's start the forum. So the first presenter is for today is Kuan-Ting Chen Kuan-Ting, the Deputy Spokesperson of Taipei Cities. Kuan-Ting, are you there? Are you here?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Kuan-Ting. Now time is yours, Kuan-Ting.
Thank you. My name is Kuan-Ting Chen. I'm the Chief Research Officer and the Deputy Spokesperson of Taipei City Government. Thank you for everyone's contribution so far. As the Chief Research Officer and Deputy Spokesperson for the Taipei City Government, I'm delighted to learn from and exchange key insights with other governments as we band together to combat COVID-19. Now, I want to share how we have been able to keep the virus at bay. Taipei is the capital of Taiwan. Our island is 130 kilometers off the coast of China. However, we only have 429 cases. About 70% of those cases have recovered. In other words, the deck was stacked against us, but we beat the odds. Much of our success is due to the use of smart technologies. First, we have trustworthy tracking technologies that monitor the spread of COVID-19. Our nationwide coronavirus database allows Taipei City or Taiwan to identify infections early and effectively. With the use of big data, rapid screening kits, and mobile phone tracking for people under quarantine, we have largely avoided the drastic lockdowns that most of the world is now facing. This means we are able to go to the office, attend school, and live life normally. Next, we deployed a second line of defense by promoting the best in teleworking and remote learning infrastructures so that companies and schools are better prepared to transition to virtual environments if needed. These online collaboration tools will maximize productivity while working or learning from home. Lastly, smart tech is helping us to distribute medical-grade masks among our city's residents, which now must be worn in crowded spaces, public transit, and shopping malls. Not only can people easily purchase masks online, but they can also now use smart vending machines. These machines are equipped with 3 important features: a secure electronic payment system, cloud-based technology that manage inventory, and sophisticated ID verification technology that tracks the number of masks that are purchased by each customer to better control supply and demand. These machines are novel tools that reduce face-to-face contact and make masks more accessible to the public while adhering Taiwan's mask rationing policies. Overall, we are committed to using tech to bolster the epidemic prevention measures of Taipei City. We are embracing creative solutions that all cities and countries can adopt. We are leading by example, not just for our corner of the world, but for our broader global communities. Many governments are finally turning the corner after weeks and months of battling COVID-19. Now is the time to be thoughtful about how to safely and strategically reopen our borders. It's crucial that we all continue to share our best practice so we don't re-import the virus back into our communities and face a second wave of infections. One of the ways we are making our strategies available to the wider world is through our Taipei City Epidemic Prevention Information website. We encourage everyone.
30 seconds, please.
Yes, no problem. We encourage everyone to visit the website and learn more about Taipei City Government's COVID-19 resources. This link is already available on the GoSmart website and will also be shared after the forum ends. Finally, it's important to remember that in this time of crisis, we want others to look to Taiwan for guidance and reassurance. We are a good example of what a post-COVID-19 future can look like. When we face another pandemic, a new global partnership will already be in place to eradicate the new virus within weeks, not years, but they will only happen if we work together. Taipei City Government looks forward for future cooperation with each and every one of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kuan-Ting. I think it's very impressive what Taipei have done on fighting COVID-19. If ever further question or further comment, please feel free to contact Kuan-Ting. And now we have the second speakers. Let's welcome Krishan, the Digital Innovation Manager of Darwin City. Darwin is also one of the 7 Go Smart Strategy Committee. Hello.
Krishan,
Hello, Krishan.
You will need to turn on your microphone.
Hi, how's it going? Good to be here. Hello.
See you again. Okay.
Yes, good to see you guys. Yes, I've also sent a presentation, like a little slide, a few slides, just to keep it very short and sweet.
Okay. So you have 3 minutes. Okay, please.
Yes. Go ahead. So we are a city by the sea. We are Darwin. We're the top end of Australia. We're also known as the gateway to Asia.
Sorry to interrupt you, Krishan. Are you going to share your slides?
Yes, I can share it from here.
No. Okay,
is there a possibility of sharing it from your end as well?
Oh, okay. Okay. We can do that.
Okay, you can keep talking. Don't worry. Yeah.
Darwin. Yep. So Krishan, now I believe everyone can see the slides from you, so you can just introducing.
Yes. So the first slide, we are Darwin City. We're the top end of Australia, and we are also known as the gateway of Asia. We move on to the next slide, please. We have around 150,000 people as a population. We have hospitality, tourism, retail, mining, and construction as some of the major industries. Over 10,000 businesses are registered within the municipality of Darwin, and we're a fast growing city up in the north, and we're one of the key cities that had implemented smart city technology through the federal government and state government support. Moving to the next slide. How did COVID-19 affect us as a city? Totally, the Northern Territory only had 28 confirmed cases. We had around 4,300 tests conducted. And the good news is we've had 25 people recover. So we're pretty much in the safe side. And recently, our Chief Minister announced that they'll be lifting restrictions in terms of national parks and parks and camping grounds and stuff. So which is a lot of restrictions being lifted for the people to start moving around slowly, but obviously keeping social distancing in mind. As a city council, what are we doing? We've invested over $55 million in terms of COVID-19 support. This includes us waiving off council fees on on-street parking, pet registrations, advertising signages. We're taking off rent relief on council-owned properties, which includes like properties that the council owns, and we've been able to provide a rent relief on that. We've held payments of council rates from businesses and community up until the 30th of June. And as a city that's walking towards a greener and a cleaner strategy, the Lord Mayor recently announced 100 extra jobs through a program called the Green Army. So the Green Army, their job is simply to make the city a very beautiful and green city. A $25 million project is being invested in terms of construction, creating more jobs and more opportunities for the community. So overall, around $55 million has been invested through the council in support of COVID-19. And an additional thing that I wanted to share with you in the next slide is as a key initiative done through the city of Darwin. On the next slide is an economic stimulus package, which includes a digital application. If you move to the next slide, please. This is a solution that we are building to support the community and the businesses locally. So we're using our parking revenue from the month of February, and we're reinvesting that in the form of digital discounts. So people can sign up, they can search for merchants that are participating. They can use these digital discounts and use it at merchants who will be able to give these discounts for you when you purchase. For example, you would use a $5 discount and make a purchase for $15, and then you would get that $5 discount. And this supports the businesses and at the same time the community.
I'm sorry,
so these are some of the initiatives that we're doing. Thank you, and yeah, that's about it. So we just wanted to keep it very brief. So within the 3 minutes, I thought I'll just share these initiatives. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Krishan. I'm sorry for the very limit of time. So we will have in the future we have a more online forum will be held in the future. So we can arrange a better time schedule for the next time. And so for the next speakers is Jelle and Freek from the director of the Economic Board Utrecht. Jelle?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Hello. Yes. Okay. Jelle, you have 10 minutes, please.
Yeah, we're not in the same room, so we have to switch during the presentation. So welcome everyone to Utrecht region. Thank you very much for giving us the possibility to present and to share what we have done so far in our experience and innovations to fight COVID-19 here in the Netherlands. The crisis hits us very hard, and of course we are trying to see how we can especially. I'm now trying to. Wow. Okay. Can you share my presentation, please, because it doesn't work somehow. Yes. So we are in Utrecht, and we see that a lot of tourism, the cultural sector, but also small businesses are hit very hard. I'm in now or not? Hello? Can you hear me all?
Yes.
Okay.
Please continue.
Okay, this next slide then, please. Next slide. So hit the button 3 times, please, so you can see the whole picture. We see that almost 40,000 people were positively tested in the Netherlands, and more than 4,500 people died on COVID-19. So it's a really crisis, and we saw that a lot of people are fighting against loneliness, but also the new care at a distance through digital solutions. Can you click on the slide, please? Yeah, so we saw that a lot of people were very innovative in getting flex hotels, a window screen between people so that they can meet each other. Next. We see a lot of initiatives coming from the people themselves, and also we have our Corona Check app national-wide, so that people can look at their health and be supported by regional call centers. Next slide, please. But also we're looking at very much at how the economic is hit by the COVID-19 crisis, and we're helping individual entrepreneurs and startups with a national fund of 100 million euros to support them in this crisis time, where a lot of people are seeing that the business is completely gone now. And from our economic board, we have found public-private partnerships in the Eureka team to see whether we can help all the entrepreneurs with temporary funding, online help desks, and also looking at smart connections between people who had offer in this crisis and people that had demands, so the online marketplace. Click. And for the first time, we had a very large hackathon, the Corona Hackathon, which we have saw almost 200 innovative teams working together to help us to understand how we can fight this COVID-19 crisis in the Netherlands. Next slide, please. And then go over to Freek.
Well, welcome everybody. I'm not sure you can see me, but I will just prepare some of the insights which we've put on from the academic perspective in our region. So we have a few action lines going on, and maybe they are of interest of you as well. We are stressing that it's very important to share data about the dynamics of the disease. So we have a pan-European infrastructure available, which is then aimed of sharing the data first, and maybe also to team up for intervention studies. And I refer to the websites on the slide deck you can download later on. We also have a trial going on with a BCG vaccine, an already existing vaccine to boost the immune system. We first checked it out with healthcare professionals, but maybe that's a way forward to at least limit the impact of the disease. Then we have an academic institute very much focused on antibodies. It's the Utrecht Molecular Immunology Hub. And we have also a long-standing relation with Taiwan and Sinica, Academica Sinica, in investigating really the vaccines as new therapeutic options. Then, of course, it's all about technology. So AI and image analysis are now used to have a better triage of patients. So we use CT scans and AI to try and see whether we have to do with COVID patients, or maybe we have other lung-associated diseases. So that's in a startup company in Amsterdam, Brain Creators, working on that. Next slide. Just to illustrate.
For 30 seconds, please.
Yep, 1 second. So skip the next one, please. Next slide. And another one, and then I will just leave you with some puzzling insights from the Netherlands. Next slide, please. That's the newest information here in the Netherlands, that we are so close living as humans and animals together, that we have now 2 days ago discovered in our mink farms that there's also spread of COVID-19. So that's a puzzling issue. Apparently humans have infected animals in the farms. And now we are investigating with the Netherlands Center for One Health, what is the dynamics of that interaction, also looking at the environmental factors involved. So air quality and disease dynamics are meeting each other, and we are open for collaboration. And I thank you all for your attention.
Thank you, Hila and Freek. I'm sorry I apologize again for the limit of time. So if anyone who is in with those project or cities, feel free to contact us. We will arrange you a private meeting. Okay. So the next one will be the Chris. Hello, Chris. Chris.
Yes. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes. Chris from the WeGO. Chris is the junior program officer from WeGO. So WeGO is also our strategy partners. So if you're ready, so Chris, you have 3 minutes, please. Thank you.
Yes. Can you guys see my PPT?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. All right. So hello, everyone. I'm Chris Joe, Junior Program Officer at WeGO Secretary. Before I start, I just want to thank GoSmart for inviting WeGO to share Seoul's policies and practices. Through this opportunity, I hope that you will get to know more about WeGO and what we are doing for our members regarding the COVID-19 pandemic. So to briefly introduce our organization, WeGO is an international organization of 200 plus local governments, smart tech solution providers, and national and regional institutions. And our goal is to improve the lives of citizens through smart and sustainable urban development. Now, to provide our members and partners and stakeholders with information in regards to the managing the COVID-19 pandemic, WeGO has launched the WeGO Smart Health Responder. We have established a special page on WeGO website, Smart Health Responder, and through the three components of the Smart Health Responder, Smart Solutions, videos and webinars, and need assistance. WeGO aims to share information, campaigns, best practices, strategies, and policies designed specifically as a reaction to the COVID-19 outbreak. As you can see in this section, pulls policies, campaigns, and best practices from local and national governments that have been successful in slowing the spread of COVID-19. If your city is interested in sharing your initiatives on this page, kindly visit our webpage to download the template. This section highlights upcoming webinars that WeGO and its partners are organizing to share successful policies and best practices in response of the COVID-19 pandemic. It also features videos of how other governments have dealt on the ongoing crisis. This page lists down companies in Korea that manufacture medical supplies related to addressing COVID-19. If your city needs assistance in getting medical equipment and have any other COVID-19 related requests, please contact us. So WeGO will continue to provide and update information on this platform. So please refer to the page on the WeGO website for more details. Now, I will briefly talk about the latest briefing note on practices and measures in Seoul's fight against COVID-19. As you can see in Figure 1, Seoul operates drive-through screening stations of COVID-19 to maximize citizens' convenience. There are lower risks of infection since the whole process from filling out a medical questionnaire to swapping is done in a single stop without having to leave the vehicle. The test takes about 10 minutes and the results will be sent to you within 2 or 3 days through your phone or text message. As of April 1st, a total number of 4,129 residents in Seoul have been tested in drive-through screening stations, of which 6 cases have been confirmed. Now for elderly and patients without cars, use a walk-through testing booth. Testing can be safely done in a phone booth-sized room with complete separation between a patient and a medical staff. Unlike the drive-through screening stations, these walk-through stations do not require more space. Since the size of the booth is relatively smaller than the normal screening centers, it will take less than 2 minutes to disinfect the booth after use, in which we can expect the whole process to be faster. Next, in Figure 2, Seoul is conducting through disinfections while research institutes of public health and the environment are conducting complete inspections of multi-use facilities and those that have been visited by confirmed patients. The city is attaching clean zone stickers on such facilities and
Sorry,
installing
Chris.
Yes,
Reminder.
30 seconds, please.
30 seconds? Okay, so then,
30 seconds.
yeah, so I'll just finish with the, what is it, one of the policies. And the last policy in Figure 3, Seoul's approach engages with the citizens rather than being unilateral and government-led only. The citizens themselves are taking initiatives in the virus containment. For example, the infected patients rarely agree to share their information, while the general public wears masks and strictly practices personal hygiene and social distancing. These posters of social distancing were designed to call for expanded public participation in social distancing for 2 weeks. I think that's for now, yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Chris.
No problem.
Yeah, and if anyone have a further, chance to work with the WeGO, please feel free to contact Chris.
Yeah.
And for the next speakers, there will be Andrew from the government of the Canada in Seoul. Andrew is the Trade Commissioner. And Andrew, hello, are you there?
You need to turn your
your mic.
Hi.
Yes.
Hi, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out this presentation thing. Let me see if I can get the PPTs going. Is there a way to upload here, or how do I? Let me
Do you need us to help you to share the slides?
Maybe, yeah, we can share your slide in our site.
Yes,
okay?
that'll be great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So, okay. Andrew.
Okay, so I'll just do a quick introduction of myself. My name is Andrew Lim.
Three
I would
minutes.
like
Thank
to,
you.
yes, first, thank Go Smart for inviting me to speak here. Just to give you a history, I was actually at Go Smart inaugural assembly 2 years ago in Taipei, so it's an honor to be here again. And I still remember talking to Mayor Kuan-Ting, and I would like to thank him for this opportunity too. So just to make it quick, so I'm a trade commissioner at the Canadian government representing the province of Quebec. If you guys don't know about Quebec, it's the French-speaking part of Canada. Their official language obviously is French and English, and we do have a different kind of system and culture compared to the rest of Canada where they speak English. So that's basically the background. And in Quebec, we have about a population of about 8 million, I would say. So I'll talk about some of the key situation, policies, and policies for business as usual. We probably don't have that much time, so I'll make it quick. So in Canada, I'm sure the virus is spreading everywhere. In Canada, in total, there's about 45,000 cases.
Wow.
And specifically in Quebec, Quebec has about almost 40% of those 45,000. And as WHO recommendations and how Taiwan and Seoul has been doing a lot of good work with combating COVID-19, one of the biggest things was test. So Canada has imported a lot of testing kits actually from countries like Korea, and they have done a lot of tests, and you can see the numbers there. This is a little bit outdated, couple of days, but still around 46,000 positive results. So we do have a big issue as well. Okay, next slide, please. Yes, these are some of the key policies and measures that the Canadian government has implemented. I won't go into too much detail, but basically Canada is taking more of a less of a technological, but more of a policy-oriented approach. And these are some of the things in terms of things like proportionality. They're not going to lock down the entire country, but if that single province or city has some cases, they'll lock down some of the businesses. So they're trying to take a kind of a more proportional approach, but yes, so that's that. So I'll talk about the tech part because we don't have that much time. So next slide, please. Yes, so some of the tech things that Canada has implemented, some of the obvious ones is drive-through. I'm sure a lot of countries have done that. One of the models that we learned is actually from South Korea. They've done a lot of drive-through testing. So we have taken their kind of initiative as well. One of the things we're also taking initiative is we're working on an app called Trace Together. You might have heard of this. It's an app basically you install it on your phone, and it kind of detects your movements, etc. So we could do some contact tracing. But some of the things I want to discuss here is we've been testing this, and there has been some difficulties. So for example, how this app works is if two smartphones have this app, it's on and it uses Bluetooth technology. So if you're within the vicinity for a certain amount of time, it will record that you have been together, and eventually if contact tracing is required, they will utilize this app. But some of the difficulties we've had is things like if people are in the same vicinity, but maybe they are kind of divided by a wall, Bluetooth will still detect that you are within the vicinity of whatever meters, and also kind of register you as being contacted. So we are having some difficulties. So if any other people have come up with some solutions, I would love to know so that we can work on this with the Canadian government. So we'll move on. Next slide, please.
Andrew, I'm sorry,
Yes.
30 seconds, please.
Okay, so I'll basically wrap it up. So as many governments mentioned already, we are working on vaccines with multiple stakeholders. We're using RNA recombinant DNA kind of vaccines. There's many different types, so we are working on this. So hopefully we get Canada and Quebec back into business. Next slide. Yes, and basically that's it. Yes, thank you. Yes, just in time.
Okay, thank you, Andrew. Yeah, I'm very appreciate for updated current situation in Canada, of Canada on fighting COVID-19. And I think that the final speaker of this section will be Mr. Jiunn-Ming, the Deputy Secretary General of Taoyuan Cities.
Yes.
Hello, Jiunn-Ming. Hello.
Yes.
So are you ready?
Hello. Thank you.
Okay, so Jiunn-Ming, you have 3 minutes. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Hi,
Happy friend online. I'm Jiunn-Ming Chiou, the Deputy Secretary General of Taoyuan City Government. I'm honored to represent Taoyuan City Government to give you a sharing about how Taoyuan take the advantage of smart technology.
Oh. Okay. Hello.
Knowledge to surely we set up a visualized alarm system. Now allow me to introduce how it works. Next. Taoyuan City Government provides 3 software services.
Chou-Ming, sorry that let us just share the slides for you on the screen so everyone can see.
哦，离开了，怎么断线了 ？Okay. I think that the Deputy Secretary General Chiou has a technology problem, so let's go. Maybe he will come back later, and probably we should go to the next section. I think we learned a lot from our speakers. Now it's time for us to learn something from the industry. So for the following section, we have 9 speakers from 9 companies to present their solution to fight the COVID-19. So, okay, as I mentioned, I'm sorry. I want to apologize again because the schedule is very, very tight. So please try your best to control your time in 3 minutes. And if anyone is interested with any company or cities, feel free to contact us. We will arrange you a private meeting. So the first speaker is Yadia from the Foxtech. Yadia is the COO of Foxtech. Yadia, are you here?
Yes. Hi, everybody.
Hello. Okay, you have 3 minutes, please.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here with you today, and I would like to tell you how we are digitally transforming the perishable goods value chain. I want to get started with thinking about what can 1 degree cost. We know that 1 degree can make you know you have a fever, but how does it impact our food value chain? Well, from the farm, it can cause yield crop reduction up to 45%. To warehouse and logistics, it might prevent you from being able to import in foods and goods. And right now, in the hypermarket, with all this supply shock happening, you're having a lot of supermarkets not having any meats and fruits and vegetables. So we developed a solution that could help SMEs and traditional players be able to cope with this contingency meeting that's happening. We're able to create something that's easy to implement. All you need to know is how to plug a USB. We monitor from high, low temperature and humidity, low power consumption, and give you data-driven results. To give you an example, we position ourselves as putting a sensing and an intelligent layer that sits on top of our customers' operations. So we are able to deploy a solution in just 5 minutes and letting them proactively monitor their operations. But let me tell you a little bit more about our customers. We have customers on every step of the food value chain, from monitoring food at warehouses to maybe some Tiger Balm you have probably used. We're monitoring their warehouses, and we're able to detect when there's any rise of temperature and humidity that might affect the shelf life of products or put their customers in danger. We give them plenty of time to be able to save that produce and be able to take their operative actions right now. One of these customers, we're really excited right now. It's like in the Asia region, we're already working with a couple of health industries for monitoring blood banks, ambulances, hospitals, and their vaccine and pills, cold and dry warehouses. So right now we're monitoring over 5,000 vaccines in Southeast Asia that are being prepared to help keep track of these people who have been in the hospitals due to COVID-19. And we're already being recognized by leaders worldwide. If you're interested in learning more about us, you can check out this video by Singapore Channel 8 News. We won the Trend Forward Capital this year. We bought our FoodTech 500, and we're part of the Spark Labs Batch 1. So if you're really interested and to do proactive monitoring, you deal with the perishable goods in the value chain, feel free to reach out to me. I would love to have a one-on-one with you. Thank you so much.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Yadia. You've done a very, very great job in time control. I believe that the fast tech solution can be applied in a different situation on fighting COVID-19. So the next speaker is Patrick, the president of Origin Wellness. Patrick, are you with me? Are you with us?
Yeah. Leo, how are you? Can you hear me?
Hello, Patrick. Okay, Patrick, you have 3 minutes. Okay.
Yes. Thank you, Leo, and thank you, Anita.
Hi.
Yeah. Hi. You guys can see my screen?
Yes, you're sharing your screen.
Okay.
Good. Great.
You know, I'm quite lucky. I'm off from home, so this is my study room. You know, basically, I represent Orange Wireless. I'm the president of Orange Wireless Taiwan. I only have 3 slides. The next slide is talking about who we are. Basically, we are the pioneer for the Wi-Fi AI sensing. So why we put on AI? Because the Wi-Fi sensing is quite smart, and we have more than 130 patents around the world. And I put 3 links just in case you need to learn more about us. One is from United States. The link is Aware. They launched our solution early this year. Last quarter of 2019. And then second video is from Taipei City Mayor, Dr. Kuo. He talked about the Taipei Smart City program. And our part is called the Smart Elderly Care. And the third one is Narita Airport. Basically, they use our solution to operate the shower room to protect the privacy, but also operate more efficiently. So our solution basically is no wearable, no camera, and provide live log information. This page is talking about how and what we can provide for the people who need it, or for the caregivers, or the social worker, what kind of information need. The first one is the location in which this is something like where the people is in the room, or the people in the kitchen, or who inside the room, or in an apartment or house. And the second, more important, is regarding the sleep behavior. And we also can score what kind of numbers of the person to be monitoring. And then activity level, and also the behavior in the toilet. Because for certain person, like elderly person, that's quite critical information for the caregivers. Most critical is we are able to set an alarm by individual requirements, which is for example, you can say, okay, if this person go to bed later than say 11 p.m., please give me a alert. This can be set by individual. How we make it happen is quite simple. This is so-called the plug and play. Basically, you just need 2 devices. We call the ASUS Lira Care, which is going to launch second half this year. Before that, we use ASUS Lira Mini. So it's a brand name product and high quality. So you can put 2 devices just beside the bed. You can see if I move the cursor, you can see it. In that case, with our motion and breathing software, we can monitor the sleep and all activity and motion inside the room. If necessary, you can put a third piece inside the bathroom, so we know what is what time and how long the person stay in the bathroom. Basically, this technology.
I'm sorry, Patrick. 30 seconds, please.
Sure, thank you, Leo. Basically, this solution is more than what we need for coronavirus quarantine program or operation, but I just appreciate we have this time to show this, to show our solution. If anyone like this kind of solution, please contact with GoSmart or contact with me. Basically, I also included myself and our Sari Wang, the marketing manager, the email information. So you'll get the information after this presentation. Thank you, Leo and Anita. This is my presentation.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you for sharing this very fantastic Wi-Fi monitoring solutions. I believe you can use in some of the situation in fighting the COVID-19. So I think that the Taiwan is back to the stage. So Fu Mi, hello.
So now you can turn your microphone on, Fu-Mi, and we're gonna share the slide for you. So don't worry about the slide.
Okay. Fu-Mi. Okay. Now you can start.
Yes.
Yes,
Hi.
please. Yes,
Actually,
please. Hello. Yeah, hello. Welcome
okay.
back. Welcome back. So,
Thank you.
Please.
Okay, now I begin.
那个Fu-Mi有3分钟哈，麻烦您。
Hi. Okay.
Fu-Mi可以开始了。嘿，请开始。
Online. Hi, every friend online. I'm Jimmy Chiou, the Deputy Secretary General of Taoyuan City Government. I'm honored to represent Taoyuan City Government to give you a sharing about how Taoyuan take the advantage of smart technology to support our governors under this COVID-19 crisis. For social distance controlling, we set up a visualized alarm system. Now, allow me to introduce how it works next. Hi. Back. Yes. Taoyuan City Government provides 3 software services. 1. Real-time image of Taoyuan famous spots for your online sightseeing. The second is the spot crowd trend chart. And also we offer a visualized alarm system, which is updated this data per half hour for tourists to keep so-called social distance. Next. Taoyuan City Government provide 2 methods to access this system, either computer or smartphone. Let me scroll down to the main photo of this system of 16 spots like the middle picture of this page. You are also able to check this system out through your smartphone's app, like the picture on the right hand. Next page. Talking about this system development stage, we started this project on April 10th. We are planning operate it officially since May 1st. Next. When the alarm light turns yellow, our staff will limit vehicle entrance. When red light shows on one spot, the minister will ban any vehicles to get in. Next. To fight with COVID-19 outbreaks, Taoyuan create this visualized alarm system to help social distance and promote smart tourism that will make travel more convenient and safer. You are more than welcome to contact me if you are interested in more details about it. Thanks for your attention. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Fu-Mi. Thank you.
Thank you.
You've done a very great job. Okay. So thanks for the Taoyuan for bringing lots of solution about how to fighting and work with central government to fight the COVID-19 in Taiwan. And Fu-Mi, 谢谢哦，谢谢你。And for the next speaker, we're back to the industry part. That will be Helen. Helen from the Yallvend. Helen's the business development person from Yallvend. Helen.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
This is Helen. Okay.
Hey,
So
Helen,
I can
you
share
have
my
3
PowerPoint right
minutes.
now?
Yeah, please. You have 3 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so can everybody see my PowerPoint?
Yes, you're sharing your screen.
Okay, thank you. So I'm just going. Okay. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Helen from Yallvend. My company released a rationing mask vending machines in 11th this month. And the specialty of this vending machine is that it can do ID checking, which can make the rationing scheme. So it's not just put the mask into the vending machine that easy. So fortunately, in Taiwan, everybody has the national health insurance card. So we can use it as the identification medium. Make sure everyone can use this scheme. During the epidemic, there's one thing we always keep in mind: time. So we don't build a brand new vending machine from the very beginning. What we do is we just install our upgrade kit into the existing operated vending machine, and then the vending machine is turned from dumb vending machine into smart vending machine, which has the function with e-payments. This can keep the risk of collecting infection from collecting coins, and also telemetry, which you can have the real-time data, sales data, and also ID checking, which is the function you already know. And the upgrading process is also easy. When you want to install the upgrade kit, just add an antenna, add a connector, and put down the antenna, and also post the QR sticker on. For the ID checking function, it's slightly different, but the basic idea is the same. It's also easy for purchase process. First step, you just insert your NHI card. Then the rest of the steps are the same when you are using the general vending machine. Here we provide two kinds of payment method. One is e-payments and the other is card payments. This is a screenshot from our platform, and it's for give you a basic idea what does it look like in the platform to see the real-time data. And you might think about where should the vending machines go after the epidemic. So since it's a upgrading vending machine, so after the epidemic, you can just remove the upgrading function. Then you have a general vending machine again. You can use it to sell like drinks as it originally did, or you can keep the e-payments or telemetry function. Also, what else could the ID checking function do? For the mask vending machine, we use it to check the duration. What time can you buy the mask again? And then we can also use it to do the professional verification in hospital, and employee verification in office, or the age verification for selling beer, something like that. This is some other solutions for your reference. And welcome more further discussion. Just email me. This is our solution. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Helen. You've done a very great job. I personally have tried this machine. It's very easy to use. And I think that the vending machine on the realness system can provide another way for the for people to to purchase like a mask. And for the next speakers, that will be Lincoln from the founder of HDIT. Hello, Lincoln.
Hello, very good afternoon. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yes,
so,
fantastic.
Lincoln, you have 3 minutes, please.
Okay, I'll try to make sure I keep to the time itself. Well, very good afternoon to all of you. Thank you very much for GoSmart for having us here. HDIT is partnering Stone Method in Singapore. I am delighted to have the support also of Stone Lin, who's the founder of HDIT. But very quickly, who are we? We are an organization that is very much into the Internet of Things, focus on a few areas like retail, buildings, factories, homes, smart care, and some of these things. Well, what we're going to do today in this very, very short period of time is to share with everyone about how we are using IoT to challenge the overall situation with the COVID-19. And we're going to take a situation out of Singapore. I think some of you would have read quite a bit about Singapore, where we initially had quite a good management of the whole virus, but then there was a resurgence of the outbreak, and therefore it has keep increasing. And I think one of the problems that we faced in that situation is the problem with the foreign workers' dormitories. So the foreign workers' dormitories were identified as the main area where these workers were actually facing the contamination. One of the things that we are actually working in the dormitories right now is to look at how prevention is better than cure. Essentially, as you know, if we are trying to combat the COVID-19, one of the things is to take the temperature. Unfortunately, it can be quite challenging if we allow also human intervention personnel to actually engage in the body temperature taking process. As a result, you face the risk. And when you have the risk, who is able to guarantee the safety? So what should we do? We essentially want to make sure that we remove this whole process, because if you have somebody who's contaminated and the body temperature taker is actually also involved in it, then you are trying to increase the level of contamination. So can the jobs be done by the robots? Can it be done by technology? Certainly, yes. Many companies now have actually seen that we are actually trying to go into this IoT space, but just to make sure that we are able to ascertain the overall accuracy. However, if you look at some of the wide area screening, the problem here is that it is unable to identify the temperatures that correctly because of the surrounding temperature issue. On top of that, the best way to actually do it is, of course, have closer proximity, which of course raises the risk. So what do? We make sure that we are able to use facial recognition, put it onto a screen, and be able to take in the temperature and have that synchronized with the HR system. We have very, very low margin of error, as you can see. And at the end of the day, you allow identification, integration, management, and the maintenance itself to achieve a good process. So this is always having safety first at the back of our mind.
I'm
so
sorry,
these
Link,
are some of the features.
30 seconds, please.
Yep. So these are the features, basically, as you can see. We're happy to give you more details on this. This is actually applicable in a lot of situations, from factory, mall, office buildings, hospital, school, smart buildings, tuition centers, you name it. And if there's anything you need, let us know. This is our contact details. So just have a QR code scan. And thank you very much again. Great to speak to all of you. Look forward to engage all of you anytime through any of the channels provided here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lincoln. If anyone have a further interesting with their solution, please feel free to contact them or contact us. So the next speaker will be Ken, the General Manager from the Fashion Intelligence. Ken. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ken. I'm the General Manager of Fashion Intelligence.
Okay, Ken.
For time constraint,
you have 3 minutes, please.
Oh, okay, sorry. For time constraint, I think I won't use my PowerPoint. So I will use my product to demonstrate it. So as you can see, there is a bracelet on my wrist. My idea is to prevent people come from overseas or inbound travelers. When they get into our country, they may need to stay at home or a certain institute for 14 days, because we all know that this 14 days is very important investigation period. So if we can do it well, we can manage them well without sleeping out, we can prevent them from infecting others. So here is a box of our products. So I open it.
It's a real-time show.
Okay. Yeah. So there is only 2 things inside. It's very simple. So users can DIY at home. This is a BLE Bluetooth low energy is a receiver, and this is a bracelet. So people can take on the bracelet by themselves, and you can see this band is a medical band, so it's difficult to remove. And you can use it to take a bath, a hot water bath, and for a whole 14 days, it's very strong. You cannot remove it. And once the person leave a geofencing, like their home, like the institute or the dorm, we can use a messenger or application to do notification like this. So if a person who wear our bracelet who going out, there will be a notification shows time and which bracelet go out of the range. And if you click it, you can check the status. Red button means the person is not at home, and the green button means the person is at home. And we also have some motion detection system in this bracelet. So if someone try to remove it and put it on the desk or somewhere for 14 minutes, 15 minutes later, our system will also trigger notification for people who are concerned or taking care of them, like village chef, like the staff of the institute. So it's very management efficient and the cost effective way to do that. So it's not only suitable for the people who are under investigation at the 14 days, also suitable for the foreign workers who are limited in the workplace and the dorm. So there are many institutes who engage the foreign workers to Taiwan, use our product at their dorm to make sure everyone stay at their rooms in the rest of the time. So here are our
I'm sorry,
solutions.
Ken, 30 seconds, please.
Yeah. So I think this kind of solutions, many countries adopt a similar way to do that. Our product is we can recycle this bracelet. It can be disinfected, and the battery life is very long, more than 3 months. So that's what I'm talking about. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Ken. I think that the fashion intelligence, they can provide one of very good solution for the isolations. So for the next speaker, that will be Mr. Hsiang Wei from GeneJet Biotech. Hsiang Wei, are you with us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes. Okay, Hsiang Wei, you have 3 minutes, please.
Okay, wait a moment. Okay.
Do you need what's for the slide?
Can you hear my screen?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I started. Hi everyone. I'm William, representing GeneJet Biotech to share with the solution Taiwanese research for gestational technology. Telemedicine is already a popular technology in IoT area. In fact, it will be also an important epidemic prevention technology. Because telemedicine can replace most of face-to-face non-emergency medical treatment. The digital monitoring system at home can also replace most of routine outpatient prenatal care. By long-term checking, it also optimizes maternal and fetal health care. So as to reduce the crowded gathering and ease the medical load. Therefore, we perform the project of target platform. This is focused on 3 core areas. The first one is TN target mount, developing wearable device and smart monitoring system for remote care. TD target data, build up standard and methodology for data collection and AI analysis. TC target care, implementing telemedicine in clinical practice. This is our system architecture. The first one is the TM, detect the vital sign by wearable device such as heart rate, SpO2, body temperature. The data will transmit by gateway to cloud. And the TD part, the AI system can automatically compute in the cloud, and the analysis result will show by web and app. The TC part is the doctor can perform the remote diagnosis by telemedicine video system. So all the result is to reduce more than 50% of outpatient. For target partners, we will collaborate with research, industry, academic to build up Taiwan national team. For maternal fetal healthcare. We hope to lead the global biomedical industry in the future. Thank you very much. Welcome to contact us for collaborate. You can scan my line and the linking. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Hsiang Wei. I think, you know, yeah, if you're in with the solution, probably they can help you to reduce the medical load. Okay, let's welcome for the next speakers, Mr. Chen Jiunn-Ming. Jiunn-Ming, are you with us?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Jiunn-Ming is the CEO of Eleclink. So Jiunn-Ming, please, you can make your presentation right now for 3 minutes, please.
Okay. Good day, everybody. We are Eleclink. Eleclink is an in situ producing disinfectant device. We can turn tap water into reactive oxygen species. The raw material is only water and electricity. So people can make disinfectant by themselves quickly and easily. And the ROS include the hydroxyl radical and hydrogen peroxide. We developed the nano-catalytic electrode and catalytic carriers. Under our Eleclink electrochemical reactor, we can transfer the water molecule into hydrogen peroxide by controlling the electron transfer numbers. Is oxidation, so we can destroy the virus and bacterial structure like double bond and some functional groups. We already have the portable type, but also we have the table type home appliance. And for field application, we also develop the industrial type. And also we have the food and the body disinfection system like this one. Combine the automation and UV system. When we set it, the system will automatically start the disinfection process. And the system can set up in many places, like in the front door, many office. And because the Eleclink just need to connect with water pipe and electricity, so we can widely apply in many places, like school, traffic station, or applied in agriculture or livestock industry or food process. We have multiple features, so we can integrate with many products or home appliances. So we hope we can cooperate with you, and we can provide you many innovative disinfection solutions. Thank you. We are Eleclink.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I believe that Eleclink, they provide a very special product, and if you're interested with the product, feel free to contact them or contact us. Thank you, Jiunn-Ming. Jiunn-Ming, thank you
for the team.
Okay, and for the next speakers, we'll have Antonio, who's the International Marketing and Operation Officer from ThinkCloud. Hello, Antonio. Hello, Antonio. Antonio.
Okay, thanks, Antonio.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Thank you. So, okay, you have 3 minutes, Antonio. Do you need us to help you to put your
share
your slides?
Well, I think I can make it from here.
Okay, great. You have 3 minutes, please.
Well, it needs permission, so if you guys can share it, it's gonna be better.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna do a brief introduction about me. So basically, I'm a foreigner in Taiwan since 9 years ago. So, well, and we started this company as a ThinkCloud. So in ThinkCloud, what we create basically is a product that is called Self-Design. Basically, Self-Design is a new solution that is like coming in these specific times like COVID. Basically, what we have done is create a solution for smart hospitals and smart like services of government. Basically, because in Taiwan we haven't experienced yet what is a lockdown. So and then the economy hasn't suffered much from like those services. So if you can see in the next slide, one of the big challenges and the current problems that the governments are like facing now is basically how do you provide services, how do you fill taxes, how do you provide like, so the problem that we see is like most of these services that they are providing, including Taiwan, basically is quite old school. They are like basically on paper. So people going to the those buildings, they have to pass through this process. So what we want to solve is basically is this problem. If you can see the next slide, please. So how do we do this transformation from going like analog to go digital, especially in government and healthcare systems? So next slide. So what we did basically is like, if we can see like most of the people are like using now to authenticate. What is the problem is authenticating like citizens or like patients. So having consent forms. So what we are using is like, for example, email address and SMS emails and like using technology like facial recognition. So, but none of them can be like secure. For example, if you're going to pay taxes or if you're going to basically do an important services in the government. So basically they have to rely on PKI cards that are like, basically you need to connect to a reader. So no many people have access to those readers. So this is one of the things that we are trying to solve by creating basically this engine, like where governments can put the platform and can create those services online. Can you see in the next slide, please? So they can, those government institutions, they can create like those portals and they can process all the information. For example, there are some cases like now there are so many emergency funds that like small businesses can apply through the government. So all this application process can be done online and can receive the information and then apply for that. And once that application is done, you can review it and send it to different parties without like being in the same place. So if you go to the next slide, basically, this is how it's gonna be done, like using your own smart device. So then also as well, we can track where you sign. So in that way, you can have like a better control of the people as well. So next slide, please. So basically, this is much what we do. And then it's like, for example, hospitals now in Taiwan, there are, for example, isolation guards is one of the problems once that they go, for example, in basically when the system collapses. So
I'm sorry, Antonio, 30 seconds, please.
Okay, when the system collapses, basically what they do is send the consent forms electronically to the family. So they sign the consent forms electronically inside the hospital and outside the hospital. So if there is any questions, you can contact me through GoSmart, and thank you all.
Thank you, Antonio, for bringing the very fantastic blockchain solutions, smart contract solutions. And for the final speaker of this section will be met by the Miss San Lee, who is the deputy manager from E3. Hello, Sam.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. Okay, Sam, time's yours. You have 3 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, sure. Wait a minute. I can't find my slide. Just wait a minute.
Maybe we can share. We can share from here. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Hey.
Okay. I will start. Hello, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Stanley. On behalf of E3 Taiwan, to briefly introduce our SARS-CoV-2 detection system we call IPMAX. The IPMAX is a molecular detection system designed based on the capillary convective PCR methodology, what we call the CCPCR. and the device weight is around 600 grams. Next, please.
Okay.
Here is the summary of our device spec. And the IP Max can run maximum 6 test tubes at the same time and detect the fluorescence signal like fan and the cyber. The VIC module is under developing now, and the multiple optical prototype expect to accomplish before the end of 2020. Next, please. Okay. IP Max is a light and a portable device for remoting and the POC healthcare. You can see IP Max just like this. In order to fit the scenario, so the operation is quite easy. It's designed with the one button complete process. After system heating, you can see here, after system heating, and you just have to put in your sample with the capillary tube and then press start. And the system will show out the result in 30 minutes on the touch screen. So the IP Max is light, portable, easy, and sensitive for the molecular diagnostic and testing. Next, please. Okay, here is the roughly summary of our technology, including the system design, the methodology, technical verification, and some of the platform performance comparison. Next, please. So for the IP Max, so far, each possesses 3 invention patents, including the heating control design and the systematic structure and the optical detection. Next, please.
The next one.
So that's the last page.
That's the last page.
Last page, sorry. Okay, so now the IP Max is a beta version prototype and under pilot production now. So you are welcome to ask us for the collaboration. Thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. I think that each is one of the a very elite research institute in Taiwan. So thank you for them to developing such a very nice device to help us to detect the fight of COVID-19. So
okay, thank you, everyone.
Yeah, if you have further problem or question or want to cooperate with each, please feel free to contact us or contact each. Thank you, Sam. And I think that's the last presentation from the industry part. And a million thanks for our industry partners for bring us those fantastic solutions. I believe the fighting against COVID-19 will require everyone's efforts. And those brilliant solutions might be the key to this world. And I know that only one seminar probably cannot fix all the problems, but we will figure out what we can do in the future. So for the next section, I'm sorry we don't have a time for break. So it's an online seminar, so you feel free to break by yourself. Okay, so for the next section, I'd like to hand it over to one of my best friend, Chien-Hung, Mr. Yao Chien-Hung. She's the Director General of Secretariat from New Taipei City, and she's going to lead the following 50 minutes. Chien-Hung, hello.
Hi, Leo. Thank you, Leo. Thank you, Go Smart.
The time's yours. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Leo, so much for inviting New Taipei. And thank you, everyone, for being so patient. I promise you, the best part will just start from now on. And we just heard from the industry and all these exciting solutions. I think they are all very creative. And from the city government, we need all the help we could. But from this session on, we will share with everyone from the perspective of a local government. And I really have the honor to chair this session. And I want to thank Go Smart for such a great initiative and such an amazing turnout. I hope in the future we'll collaborate more with Go Smart.
Yeah,
I'm here representing, excellent job. I'm here representing New Taipei. It's the largest city in Taiwan with 4 million population. And we'll share our challenges and solutions and hope you will do just the same at the Q&A session later on. Since the first case reported of COVID-19 in Wuhan on December 31st last year, it seems like not too long ago, Taiwan at that time was predicted to have the second highest importation risk of any country. But now, Taiwan has relatively low number of confirmed cases at 429 and 6 deaths. Considering how close we're to mainland China, how frequent people are traveling, how much are our trading between two places, I think this number is relatively well controlled. And our national CDC is doing an excellent job. But what about a city government? What we're doing in contributing to containing COVID-19 in Taiwan. Currently, it has been widely reported on international and local media. But to sum up New Taipei City's control measures and what we have been doing, I'll put into one simple phrase, since this session is policy and demand matching. I want to tell you, we're doing it keeping one jump ahead. So I will share today how we're doing it in New Taipei. Case number 1 in Taiwan is a citizen returned from Wuhan on January 21st. Can you believe it's only 3 months ago? Which was the worst possible moment for a virus to break out, because it was just days before the Chinese New Year. And that's when people travel for holidays. As you can see, from this picture, that's our mayor, Mayor Ho of New Taipei. At that time, he already took precautions in wearing a mask, and he's not shaking hands during his Chinese New Year greeting visit. At that time, remember, most of the people still is not aware of the nature of the virus, and his decision was proven to be very insightful. It has a lot to do with Taiwan's experience 17 years ago during SARS, if you still remember. At that time, Mayor Ho was the head of the police department in Taoyuan city. When we just heard from Taoyuan, where is the international airport was located. His decades-long crisis and disaster prevention and management expertise has led the city's control measures each step of the way. I'll share with you a very brief timeline. So here you can see it's a very brief timeline on New Taipei City's epic control measures. The blue columns you can see is the crucial example of New Taipei City's actions. And the lower grayish bar is the CDC national government's actions. And I will highlight just a few to tell you, actually, most of the measures and control measures are actually done first by New Taipei City. Some of them are even ahead of the central government. Why is that? I think in a situation like this, if you want to create a good policy or to implement a good policy, you really need the feedback or the advice from the city government, from the local government. Why? Because we are the government every day serving the people, listening to the people. So we can immediately give you the feedback about how a good policy can be implemented or can be created. So just a few, because I want to hear later on from you more. So just a few examples. First is in New Taipei is the first city in the country to have launched the 24-hour emergency operations center with the mayor sitting as a commander of the operation. Why does it matter? Because it matters how high the chain of command goes. In a city, mayor is the highest it can go. He also advised CDC, that's our national Taiwan disease control center. He also urged them to upgrade the national coronavirus task force to level 1 command. And later on, the central government also took his advice. So the number one lesson, leadership is key. So next one is about schools. The first emergency team of education for education institutes are set up in New Taipei City as well. That includes principals from the schools, parents, and teachers from all 379 schools in New Taipei City. During the 3-week delay, we first integrated all the resources online on one platform, just in case if we need to shut down the schools. But we're so glad to tell everyone, Taiwan is now one of the only 6 countries that schools are still open. Even though there are still few classes in individual campus that were suspended, but overall, no major outbreak in elementary and high schools, which are under the city's governance. So after school, we started to take care of the people who are in quarantine. So in addition, we are also the first city in Taiwan to establish the home quarantine support center. People need guidance. People need care. So we provide a toll-free hotline for citizens to call in, and we can also contact them. So we provide physical, also psychological care kit for them. So as you can see, the picture on the left is our mayor. The picture to the right is actually one of the people we sent from local office to take care of the citizens in quarantine who live alone. Sometimes we collect the garbage, sometimes we bring them meals. But we also have very creative solutions. We give away home quarantine care kit, including a very nice letter from the mayor, 14 surgical masks, because that's 14 days, you need one of a day, and health guidelines. More importantly, we keep them entertained. We give them a 14-day free VIP membership of Taiwanese Netflix-like streaming services to provide them with free entertainment at home, so they don't walk around outside of their home. So after taking care of people quarantining at home, we also started the drill. It's not just only the first in Taiwan, but also the first in Asia to simulate a community transmission. That was back in March. And in April, we are also, we just hosted the first simulation of a 21-day lockdown. But hopefully we don't need to exercise that. So after these are just some of the highlights of the measures we are doing. So after that, we started to think about, we need to share all this with our international partners. So we are the first city in Taiwan to share all these experiences with the world. So in March 27, as early as last month, we collected all the measures that we take since day one and color-coded them into a handbook and timeline to share with everyone. And I think that's when Leo started receiving information from New Taipei City when he was already planning for this Go Smart online meeting. Then we created a Facebook fan page to share with more people, including the cities in the US, Nepal, all the embassies and representative office in Taiwan, simply know how we want to share with the world. And just a few weeks ago, we also received some of the help, some of the help that they need from overseas cities. So New Taipei is so glad we're also the first city to reach out to our sister cities and non-sister city alike, sending them PPE when they most need it, including Cincinnati, New York, and Stamberg in Germany. But I think still, who are the people that need our care most? So our first webinar hosted in Taiwan by a city is of course done by New Taipei City again. And among all the topics we can discuss, we decided we need to discuss about the shadow pandemic, about the silent victims in our society. We've seen an alarming rise of reports of domestic violence, of children, of women during the quarantine time. Also, seniors living alone are suffering. Disadvantaged workers who face unemployment, frontline medical staff, family caregivers, and pregnant women. One of the company also talked about the medical device they created for pregnant women. So these are all silent victims of COVID-19. And this brings back and links immediately to our conclusion, at least for this session today. In the latest issue of Economist, already they discuss about there may be 4 countries that are nearly COVID-free, including Australia, New Zealand, South Korea, and Taiwan. Is it? I think we need to be very cautious about easing restrictions, but I think the world has started paying attention to post-pandemic era and post-pandemic city. So who are the people? What are the topics we need to focus on? I think we have always need to remember, New Taipei City, even though keeps one jump ahead, we should think about leaving no one behind. In February in Abu Dhabi, I remember when I was attending the 10th World Urban Forum, we were discussing localizing SDG and the impact of voluntary local reviews with many city leaders. Now the global economy is suffering. Social distancing, keeping everyone apart. Looking back, I'm thinking about what we talked about 3 months ago at the World Urban Forum. Are they still relevant in the post-pandemic era about sustainability? My answer is still a firm yes, because I believe SDG, especially the core values of SDGs, are leaving no one behind. And especially sustainability is the antidote to the coronavirus pandemic. It is the solution. Cities could become more resilient because everyone working together, like Go Smart, like all the private sectors, all the creative companies, we are making the city more resilient because we are putting people in the center of decision making. That means everyone. So I think today's webinar by Go Smart is a very strong proof that social distancing cannot stop international partnership. And that is SDG Goal 17. And I would like to invite you to bring up any ideas.
I just want to remind you,
messages here in the chat. And we'll start discussion here.
Probably you need some feedback from audience.
Yes, please.
好，所以，然后呢，注释一下。
Any question? So, there's one question online. Female leaders have managed the corona crisis better because one of the participants said that, could I share with everyone, a female leader like myself, what differences are we making? So that's the question one. Should I collect more questions from the audience? So the first question is to female leaders. Are we making any difference? So that's one. Any more question?
Only have time for 1 or 2 questions.
Yeah. Should we collect all? And then.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
So while we're waiting for more questions, indeed, second question from Mila. What kind of help do you provide to the disadvantaged workers who face unemployment due to measures against the pandemic? Good. So we have 2 questions. One is about female leaders. The other one is about unemployment to disadvantaged workers. Okay. So about how many more minutes we have in answering?
Actually, you have okay. I'll give you 3 minutes. Okay.
But you just mute yourself.
You mute yourself.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Anita is also a female leader, and I see from our audience there are many female leaders. We need to think about more to make sure that all the solutions provided are more inclusive. It's not just about gender, it's about overall more diverse solutions to serve, to make sure that the challenges, when we consider the challenges, are more inclusive and the solution we provide are more inclusive. So I would encourage more and more companies, city governments to have a team like the one we're seeing right now on the screen from GoSmart. Always have diverse backgrounds, diverse genders, diverse interests, and also like a forum like today, we have the perspective from research institute, from city government, and from private sector as well. So we always need to think about diversity. It's not just about genders. But I agree with the people who asked the question. Female leaders sometimes do think a few more steps ahead. About the disadvantaged employment, we actually provide not just with relief, funding, but also in the city government, we are hiring part-time workers and to make sure that they get short-term employment as well. And they also have a more rapid job matching provided by the city government, and also assistance with medication and easier dispute mechanism. And more important is they need immediate job allocation. So from the city government, we provide them with short-term employment as well. And we have a hotline where they can call, and we can quickly provide them with either jobs they need or the labor disputes resulting mechanism that they may need. So these are very short answers. Thank you. I will give the floor back to Leo. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ching-Yi, for the very, fruitful presentation. I believe that, the Ching-Yi described the need of the city, after the COVID-19, and it's very important to also care about the unemployment and the home violence, and also lots of even the mental disease. Yeah, so maybe those effects will hurt us more, than the violent self-directory. So thank you, Ching-Yi, again for this presentation, and also for the question. For the next, thank you. For the next part will be the next presentation that will be held by the Andreas. Andreas is a senior manager from a German track office, Taipei. Hello.
Hey, Leo.
Hi, nice to see you again.
Good to see you too.
Yeah. So, okay, so you have 15 minutes, okay? So take your time.
Well, first of all, thanks a lot, Leo. Thanks a lot to Go Smart for organizing this seminar. And of course, also thanks to Ms. Yao in New Taipei City for the assistance for Germany. I'm going to talk a little bit about what Germany is, what opportunities there are in Germany, especially for Taiwanese companies in medtech and smart medical technology in particular, and what we as the German Trade Office can do to support. I don't know, can you see my presentation?
Not yet.
No.
We can share the screen for you if you need it.
It should be okay. Let me check.
Okay, so we will let you do that.
Okay. Just a second. Okay. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So first of all, a few words on who we are as the German Trade Office. It's kind of a peculiar institution that not a lot of countries have. In Germany, all companies by law have to be part of the German Chambers of Industry and Commerce. So they don't even have a choice but to be our members. And our foreign representations are in 140 locations in 92 countries, including in Taiwan since 1981. And as such, we're the official representation of German industry and commerce and the German economy as a whole. Our structure is a little bit complicated. You see there's multiple logos, but to put it simply, we got an AHK, we got the German Trade Office part, which essentially has a representative function representing German business interests to political stakeholders, but also collecting data on German and Taiwanese companies and serving as a platform for companies and political stakeholders of both countries. With DE International, we kind of have an in-house consulting, I guess you could call it, service that directs its services particularly towards individual businesses, and as such we can access the whole network of the German trade offices abroad as well as within Germany, and provide Taiwanese companies, for example, with market entry services in Germany, with market information, with business partner searches, trade fair assistance, legal advice, and more. A few words on our business relations. Shortly, our German-Taiwanese business relations are very close. Germany is Taiwan's 10th largest export market in the world, as well as its 5th largest source of imports, and #1 trading partner in Europe. Taiwan, on the other hand, is Germany's 5th most important trading partner in Asia, which is quite astonishing. We have a trade volume of over $18 billion, which is almost on par with India, which is particularly remarkable because India has a population that's 50 times that of Taiwan, and yet our trade volume is almost the same. So it also comes to show the high quality of goods that are traded between Taiwan and Germany. And medical devices and medical technology certainly are a large part of that. As you might know, the German medical device industry is very strong in its own regard. It's an industry of 31.5 billion euros with above average growth of 5.4%. It's also very export oriented, so 2/3 of German medical devices are headed for export. And this strength is largely also due to large investments in research and development. Around 9% of revenue are invested in research and development. And there's not just the large German medical device companies that I'm sure you're aware of. There's actually a lot of small, medium enterprises, which also make up about 2/3 of all German medical device companies. So that's something worth pointing out. Now, what's more interesting to Taiwanese suppliers of medtech will be the healthcare market in Germany itself. Healthcare coverage, similar to Taiwan in Germany, is very high at above 99%. And correspondingly, we have a very large healthcare market of 387 billion euros, making it the largest healthcare market in Europe. Among those 387 billion euros, 94.7 are hospital and 95.5 billion outpatient expenditure. We have 1,942 hospitals in Germany, which is about the ratio of hospitals to population is similar to Taiwan. 497,200 hospital beds, 400,000 active medical doctors, and 64,000, almost 65,000 dentists working in Germany. Now the big question is, how can you become active on the German market? There's multiple German government initiatives that encourage the cooperation between foreign companies and German companies. One of them is Mittelstand Global, which mostly brings German delegations of small, medium enterprises to foreign countries. In fact, we had a medical device delegation to Taiwan last year. There's also a platform that I highly encourage you to check out, which is Health Made in Germany, also by the German Federal Ministry for Economic Affairs and Energy. On there you can find free market information, introductory services, and some networking opportunities, completely free of charge. It's some basic offer, but it's very worth checking out and very attractive for startups. Another thing that is remarkable is there is a research program between the German Ministry of Education and Science and ITRI in Taiwan that every year sponsors research projects between Taiwanese companies and German companies or institutions. So if you have any research project that you're working on and you're considering working with a German partner, or you already have a German partner that you consider working with, this might be very interesting to check out. You might receive some substantial funding for your international research cooperation. There's a couple of programs specifically for startups in Germany that are quite generous in terms of providing capital and also support for investors in startups, but it's mostly directed at companies that are registered in Germany. If any company present today ever considers setting up shop in Germany for their German or European business, feel free to get in touch. We have a lot of free information. There's 6 states in Germany that have particularly good programs to attract Taiwanese companies for investments, such as settlement bonuses, free legal advice, you name it. There's a lot of great opportunities for companies that are looking to expand into Europe via Germany. Also, something I want to put your attention on is we set up a free platform because we had a lot of requests from German companies that want to procure medical supplies from Taiwan. So we decided to set up a platform on our website. It's a directory that you can post your company information. I'm going to post a link to a questionnaire in the chat, and you can fill it out and actually get onto the directory and make your company and your products more visible to interested German partners. Also worth pointing out is the Enterprise Europe network, which has a similar platform specifically designed for the COVID-19 crisis. It's also an online platform for B2B matchmaking that might be very interesting. I'm also going to post this link in the chat. And finally, I'm going to tell you about our Smart City delegation in the end of September until beginning of October. We're going to have some German companies originally planned to visit Taiwan. We're probably going to change it into an online model. It's going to have a focus on mobility, but of course, medical companies are also very welcome to participate. And of course, we'll keep you updated. Check out our website and look forward to hearing from you. So that's it from my side. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know.
Okay, thank you, Andreas. So,
I think that if you check the message part, that I saw someone asking questions there. So, yeah. Are you seeing that?
Mm-hmm. So, Ms. Yao, thanks for pointing out the PPE sent to Starnberg. Just much appreciated. Of course, we're also looking forward to more German cities working closer with stakeholders in Taiwan, including New Taipei City, and we'll be very happy to act as an intermediary and help you introduce to more partners. Say a little about reopening policy in Germany. We've heard there's EU guidelines. So the current situation in Germany is case number and number of new infections has gone down, and there is a political consensus to slowly start relaxing measures. However, very fortunately, the approach in Germany is take it step by step and not rush, which I think is very reasonable. There are some plans to slowly start reopening schools by May 4th, but that is yet to be determined. So I think our government is slowly moving forward into relaxing guidelines, but not on a fixed schedule and taking things as they come.
Okay.
Yeah. So, do you have? Okay, seems that we still have one question that you haven't replied, but we are running out of time. So, if you don't mind that, Alfred Huang, that we will ask Andreas to reply your question, maybe my email later.
Sure.
Okay. So thank you again, Andreas. And I think it's very good to have lots of opportunity to work with German. Yeah, probably we can have a forum focusing on staff next time. Yeah. See what we can do. Yeah. Thank you again. So so now floor is open for the discussion. Before that, I would like to invite my friend Charles.
Hello, Leo.
Okay, here you are. Okay, Charles, could you introduce yourself and lead the discussion, please? We have probably 15 minutes, okay?
Okay, that's fine. So I'm Charles Reed Anderson. I have a bit of a portfolio career. So one thing I do is I have my own consulting business that advises various customers, including governments, technology vendors, enterprise customers, and banks on the technology ecosystem around IoT. And the other thing I'm doing now is I'm setting up a new accelerator in Singapore that's focusing on smart cities called Spark Labs Connects. So yeah, that's basically what I do. So I navigate this complex ecosystem and try and make it work, which is quite challenging because it's a bit messy, which I know you guys know as well, right, Leo and Anita?
Yeah.
Okay, so we got a question coming in. It's a question to Andreas and New Taipei City. Is there a plan of digitalization and smart city solutions, in particular for a post-COVID-19 resilience?
So Andreas or Qingyu Yao, who's going to answer the question first?
Ladies first.
Okay. So remember to unmute yourself before you answer the question.
So it's about digitalization and smart city solution. I think that's why we joined Go Smart. City government is, as I say, to hear from the people, to listen to the people, and to bring the feedback. And we should also learn from the industry to serve as a platform to match resources and solutions. We can't just act alone. Our city government also looks for regional collaboration with the neighborhood cities. New Taipei City is the largest city in Taiwan with 4 million, but combining regional to all the neighboring cities together, we have 10 million population, which is roughly half of the population in Taiwan. So together, I think we can act stronger. And for smarter solutions, again, it is not an easy answer. It's not an easy, there is no one easy answer, but I believe any solutions, whether using technology or not, should put people's needs in the center of all the solutions. And when I say people, I mean everyone. COVID-19 doesn't attack younger people, older people, richer people, poorer people. It attacks everyone. So we need a solution that is more diverse, always thinking about the diverse society, all the diverse needs. And I think that's the future post-pandemic era. And looking at what solution is best for the environment, most sustainable as well.
Okay, so Andreas?
Yeah, thank you very much for the question. For us as the German Trade Office, as I mentioned, we do have a smart city, digital delegation that we're expecting in September. It is mostly focused on mobility, but we are open to opening it to digital health services as well, anything that falls under the umbrella of smart city. Beside that, we do of course support Taiwanese companies if you're interested in participating in trade fairs as soon as these will happen again in Germany. Noteworthy, beside Medica in Düsseldorf, which I'm sure many of you are aware of, which is still meant to take place end of this year in November. If you're interested in participating, we're very close with Messe Düsseldorf. We'll be happy to forward you. Also, a less known but also very remarkable trade fair in this field is DMEA in Berlin, which will take place in real life in 2021, but this year's edition, they actually digitized completely. So this is one of the first major trade fairs where we'll see a completely digital version that I'm yet not yet quite sure what it'll look like, but I think it's very interesting to check out. So do check out the website, DMEA Berlin. I'm also going to post it in the chat. So that would be a good opportunity to advertise Taiwanese solutions in digital health, even during this time.
So Ms. Yao from New Taipei City also asked or made a comment that maybe next time we should do some market analysis on the industry shift post-COVID-19. And I can actually give some insights on that because that's a lot of what I do with my day job. And we've been doing a lot of discussions on this recently. My main view on this is that cities, with all due respect, tend not to be overwhelmed with too much budgets. So they're always fighting for budgets. That is going to get worse because you're going to be having a lot of budget deficits. However, there's a lot of projects that have been put on hold, but there will be a shift. I also think what you'll be looking for is a lot more of types of solutions for smart cities that are OpEx focused, that are more as a service and less CapEx intensive, No one's going to have CapEx budget going forward. It's too high risk right now. So you're going to see that shift. Definitely the most interesting space to be tracking right now is about contact tracing. So you've got a lot of different models out there. So in Singapore, I think they're the first ones to launch an opt-in model with their Trace Together app. Since then, you've seen, I think, Ireland, Germany, Australia just launched one this week. They're launching these opt-in contact tracing apps. And it's coming with a bit of negative feedback around it because a lot of people are afraid of what happens if that data, if the government's going to do something with that data. So this is an interesting one for me to track because I want to see how people, are they willing to accept that? And right now you're seeing still a decent amount of reluctance. I mean, I have friends who I think are highly intelligent who refuse to put this app on their phone, and it pisses me off, pardon my French. But we need to start doing this because this is where we are today. Now imagine where we're going to be in 6 months from now. What is it going to take for me to come and visit my lovely friends, Anita and Leo and the rest of the team in Taipei? I won't be able to jump on a plane anymore, most likely without something like a medical passport. So is this going to shift this whole model towards more enforced? And in some countries have done more enforcement on this and been tracking citizens' data. Is that the model we're going to go down? And this is a really interesting thing in the industry because we as citizens have a concern about our data privacy. On the other hand, if we want to get back to anything close to what we were before, we're going to need to start looking into these types of solutions. So this, for me, is the most interesting thing to follow. And they're about to try to launch one in the UK, and the press is hammering it already. So it's going to be a messy one. So my quick comments on that.
Okay, actually, Charles, I have a question for you. Can you update a little bit about current situation of Singapore, because you stay in Singapore, right? Yeah, and also, as we know that Singapore had locked down for a while, and do you also can tell us about what exactly Singapore do recently to fight the COVID-19?
So in Singapore, as you can see, I'm in a collared shirt, and I want to thank you for inviting me to do this on video because I think it's the first time in 6 weeks.
Really good.
And I think we locked down about 4 weeks ago. It's not called a lockdown; it's called the circuit breaker.
Okay.
The idea is we managed it very well in the first phases in late January and early February. What's happened now is there's been outbreaks in a lot of the dormitories where the foreign workers reside, and those numbers have exploded. So we went from in the single digits or double digits of cases per day into the hundreds, and in a few days we hit well over 1,000 cases per day. Largely it's in that foreign worker population, but it's a challenge because it means we were initially supposed to be under this circuit breaker until the end of the month or so. Now it's going to go until June 1st. So there's no way they should be opening it up right now. People are relatively good about following the rules here. So we are locked down. We're allowed to go out and do exercise. Masks are required now, except when you go cycling. So conveniently I cycle, so I get to go out without my mask. But it is hopefully going to get better. But this is a situation where longer term, we have to figure out, because this is a second wave we're going through now. There's most likely going to be more because all these countries where people travel internationally, and Singapore is a major travel hub. People are coming in all over. So if you come in right now, you're going to go into quarantine. If I went to Taiwan, I'm sure you'd stick me in quarantine. Even if but it's going to be a challenging environment for all countries. I think what Singapore's been very good at, and that cough isn't COVID. But what Singapore's been very good at is being transparent about what is going on. But like I said, they didn't anticipate that it would explode the way it did in the foreign worker dormitories. And that's what's really taken us back. And it's going to cause us to go through another 4+ weeks of working from home.
好，差不多了时间。还有吧？
没有。
Okay. Thank you, Charles. Due to the time very limit, I want to apologize again, for the very, very, rush and very time limit presentation, and I want to thank to all of the all of the speakers, especially for the speaker who, very willing to, join this online forum. And thank you, Charles, and also Qing and Andreas to, moderate the 3 sections.
And Leo, can I interrupt for 1 second? There was one other question, and someone just pointed out there was another question.
Okay. Yeah.
I can answer this one. And
yeah.
To summarize it, is it time to get together some type of a global organization like the UN to do some common standardized template to tackle pandemics? I think the world will now be more prepared. Asia was better prepared than the West because of what happened with SARS. Going forward, most countries will do this. I don't think there's a chance, even though we need a global organization to take center stage right now. The governments are fighting so much and playing the blame game that I think it'd be very difficult for this to happen in the near term. So I think it's going to take a while because, let's face it, everybody's just pointing fingers and blaming everybody else for what's going on. In reality, everybody should have been better prepared. I think most of the Asian countries know how to handle this because of what happened previously with SARS. Now the US, or North America, Western Europe, everyone else will start probably planning a lot better in the future. But in reality, we do need something like this because that's the only way we're going to open up international travel and I can come back and visit Taipei again.
Okay. Yeah. And no, I will make sure I will give you more time next time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to say thank you for all of you again, and especially for the speakers and for also for the anyone come from worldwide, and we hope we can work together to fight the COVID-19 in the future. I think that Anita also have something to announce.
So thank you all for attending this, and sorry for the time limited. And all the slides and video will be shared on website, so just check them out. And so furthermore, that we will host this kind of seminars every 2 months. So just feel free to attend us. And last good news is that GoSmart will be free for the membership until next March, which is 2021. So it's totally free to join us right now. So just seize the chance and join us. And another good news is that before the end of the forum, that we would like to invite just the one who's still in the meeting, please turn on your camera.
Yeah, that means everyone. Everyone.
So now it's time for us to take a virtual group photos. And yeah. It's your only chance to open your camera, so please open your camera. We would like to see you, and we ask you to turn off the camera. Doesn't mean that we don't want to see you. We're just afraid of the internet jam.
Yeah.
So it will be our
so it's safe now. You can turn on your camera.
And let's wave your hands. We can take a group photo. And thank you so much for being with us today. So see you next time. You will receive a newsletter, and all the information will be shared online. So stay tuned and stay safe.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good health and stay safe.
Bye.
Goodbye. 没有打开麦，他们都知道。Goodbye。